What up, B Squad? It is your boy JB, and we are here today with a brand new review of SWV in Xscape, the Queens of R&B. This is season 1, episode number 3. The episode is titled Dis-Chord, you guys. You guys may notice that there's a big box in the background. I just got a new couch delivered to my apartment, so that's the box from the couch. And if you guys are watching this video or any other video on my channel and you guys aren't yet subscribed, I need you guys to do me a solid favor and stop taking me out on this date and having me pay for it at the end of it. Do me that favor by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, turning your post notifications on, and sharing the video. And with that out of the way, without further ado, let's discuss the Queens of R&B, shall we? All right, you guys, so this episode, we start up and we see, what all the girls are doing in their day-to-day lives, right? So then we see Taj. So you guys know Taj lives in Nashville. So Taj met up with Latasha. Remember, Latasha's in Nashville because she met up with Motown down there, right? So they met up at the National Museum of African American Music. And after seeing that, I definitely want to go down to Nashville, and I definitely want to see that. I actually know somebody who lives in Nashville. I definitely want to go down there and visit that. So, they see, NWA, they see Destiny's Child, SWV, Xscape, Ladies Love Cool J. Now, was that Color Me Bad in the background? Because I know that I saw some white people in there. And I'm like, is that Color Me Bad? Because I'm like, it says African American, but you got a white group in the back. I'm pretty positive that was Color Me Bad. I'm pretty positive that was Color Me Bad. But that's neither here nor there, right? So, Taj was talking about they saw Destiny's Child. And, Taj was talking about when they used to go to Houston, that the girls of Destiny's Child. Now, were they Destiny's Child or were they Girls Time? Oh, Beyonce and that Girls Time. From that album, Beyonce, when she put that Star Search video up there. So I wonder, were they Destiny's Child or were they Girls Time at the time, right? They had to have been Girls Time. That had to have been Girls Time because they broke up in 98. And they weren't touring, so this had to be long before 98 because Destiny's Child came out in, 97, 98? But she said every time that they would go down to Houston, the girls would, come to their hotel. They would take them, on signing, when they would do signings and all that kind of stuff. And I thought that was cool that they took the girls of Destiny's Child beneath their wings, right? Because they looked up to them. So Taj as Tasha, the thing is between you and your sister, how can they be worked out so that way we can all get together and basically make this dang on money, girl, right? Now, Latasha didn't tell the full story about what's going on, right? So she did say that the issue initially was the body shaming, right? And you guys know I've already spoke on that. I didn't really take it as body shaming, but if that's how Latasha took it, then that's how she took it, right? And I can't tell her how to feel about anything, right? But then she says that, that Tamika disrespected their mother. And my thing is with the mother, only thing that I can see when she could say that Tamika disrespected their mother is when she said, they showed the scene again. And it kind of looked like Tamika kind of bucked at her mama just a little bit. So I can kind of see that, but not so much so, right? What else do we want to say? So then, she told Taj that she was down there because she's shopping around a solo record deal. Speaking of, now, you guys know I don't watch Speak on It. I don't care to watch Speak on It. But I did see snippets of Speak on It last week, right? And I know that Candy was supporting Latasha's solo album because Latasha's album comes out on Good Friday. So next month, her album will be out. Are y'all buying it? I'm not. So next up, we see Coco. So Coco, she met up with some of her friends, right? And, her friends are saying, we ain't really saw each other in a while. So they asked Coco, how is she doing? She says, she's doing fine. And Coco let us know that, she has been diagnosed with bipolar depression. She was diagnosed in 2017 when she wanted to unlive somebody and she knew something was wrong then. So she went and got the help and she's been good ever since, right? Who was she trying to unlive? Her ex-husband? Questions that you gotta ask, right? She wasn't, just wonder. But I'm glad that, the one thing I can say about this show that I do like is the fact that, yeah, we get the Xscape drama, But then we go over to the parallels of SWV, and we hear their stories, which we've heard their stories plenty of times before, right? Because they had a reality show on WeTV. They also had that show on BET when they were doing that tour with Salt and Pepper. Oh, now that show right there was just not. And it really wasn't even SWV. It was Salt. It's the interesting thing when they do the shows with other girl groups. It's always the other girl groups that has the issues because now on their show, yes, there was a lot of issues. I can't remember which show it was, if it was the one on BET or if it was the one on WeTV, where Coco didn't want to sing Downtown. I feel like it was the one with Salt and Pepper, and it could have been their other reality show too. But I know there was one show where she was like, it was like she had become a devout Christian and she didn't want to sing Downtown. I don't remember which one it was. It could have been a combination of the both, right? But that's really all we got for Coco. Like I said, I love seeing the contrast between Xscape and SWV. But we're gonna pause here and we're gonna move forward. Next up, you guys, Tamika. So Tamika has invited Mama Gloria over to her home. And for me personally, I don't think I would have invited Mama Gloria to my house, especially after that threatening voicemail that she left to Tamika about if Tamika touches her sister, that she gonna whoop her tail, right? My mama wouldn't have been able to call me. I would have blocked my mama and I would have blocked my sister at the same time, right? Like, there's a lot about me that you guys don't know. And I'm gonna try to talk about it, but not go too deep into it because it's personal and it really doesn't have anything to do with you guys. But I don't have a situation like Tamika. So I do have siblings. I have one older brother and the rest of my siblings are younger than me, right? So it's me, it's my brother, and then it's our two younger brothers and our little baby sister, right? So there are some issues within my family, and what I feel like Tamika has to do is she has to get to the point like I did, right? I still love my family, and I don't have any ill will towards them, right? But for me, with my family, I had to get to a point in my life where I was like, you know what? I love them, but I don't necessarily like the way that they treat me, right? So I had to put a boundary in, and I'm like, you know what? The boundary is I don't talk to you guys. They're not a part of my life. Again, still love my family, but I had to just cease communication with them. I do speak to them from time to time. It's very rare, but I had to kind of put some boundary. I had to put that down. I had to be like, you know what? I want to be happy in my life, and I don't want to be upset and angry about things. So the best thing for me to do is just kind of separate myself from you guys. Again, love you, but I got to separate myself, right? So Mama Gloria, I want to say one thing. Her wig is very disrespectful. That wig just bothers me each time that I see her on that screen with that wig. And I think to myself, how much money did Latasha and Rocky give to you? Because they didn't give you enough to get a good, decent looking wig. No shade, and allegedly. So Mama Gloria is saying that Tamika disrespects her because she says, what's the issue? And Tamika says, I feel like you always take Tasha's side and you let Tasha explain herself, right? So she says, well, the reason why I let Tasha explain herself is because Tasha don't disrespect me. And I was like, but in that particular scene, you had Tasha's back immediately, especially when you sat there and said that Tamika was jealous of Latasha and that she deserves the Academy Award. You didn't even hear her out, and she never said anything disrespectful to you. So that's a contradiction. So then, you know, she's talking about, I am the fifth member of the group. I am the fifth member of the group. I was like, ma'am, say what now? So it feels like with your daughters, you live vicariously through them. Like, that's what it's given to me. So Tamika did something that I absolutely would not have done. Tamika apologized to her mom. I'm like, girl, there is no way I would have apologized to her, right? But then we got a little bit of backstory. So Tamika says that she's a lot like her. She's a daddy's girl. She's a lot like her dad, right? So Tamika's mama gives Evelyn Braxton, because that woman has harbored so many ill will towards the girl's father, Michael Braxton Sr., and I think it's just kind of how with the Braxton sisters, the issues with the mama spoiled into their relationship and how they are with each other, right? And that's what's happening with Tamika and Latasha. And it's so funny. Tamar, I just saw a live video that Tamar did, and we'll talk about Tamar and Candy in Hot Topics this week, you guys. I promise I'm gonna get back to it. But I just saw a live video. Tamar was like, she doesn't watch this show. I don't know how true that is or isn't, right? She says because seeing the stuff with Latasha and Tamika is very triggering to her because it's some of the same stuff that she went through with her sisters. And I was like, I can see that. I can definitely see that, right? But Mama, just like Evelyn Braxton, Mama needs to go seek some therapy because you are harboring some resentment towards your ex-husband, but it's rolling over into your relationship. It's not rolling over, bitch. It's rolled over into your relationships with your daughters. You do favor one over the other, and that's why. So later on, we see Taj. So Taj went to go see Candy, right? And she told Candy, was telling Candy how the trip was to Africa. And she told Candy, so in Nashville, I ran into somebody that Latasha. So at one point, Candy said, Latasha who? Girl, you know who she's talking about. So, but okay. Excuse me, y'all. So Taj told Candy that Latasha was down there because she met up with Motown. And Candy was like, this is a repeat of history, right? When they were together. And I can see what Candy is saying in this particular moment. I do see it. What she's saying, and I actually, I see what Tasha's doing too. I saw it long before. What Latasha is doing is, Latasha is not putting 100% into the group because she wants to go solo, right? So it's like she has 1 foot in Xscape, 1 foot in the solo career, right? She doesn't want to put her whole into her solo career because she doesn't want the offset that the solo career, it don't work out. So if my solo career don't work out again, let me hop back over here with my girls in Xscape. That's really what it's giving. And I feel like we're gonna see what Latasha really does once this solo album comes out on Good Friday. Me personally, I'm gonna wish Latasha the best. I'm gonna wish her the best, right? But I don't think that this is gonna go the way that she expects for it to, right? Because this show right here, like I said in last week's review, this show wasn't a good idea for her. And I think when it came down to Xscape, I think each one of them did it because they thought that someone else in the group wanted to do this show. I don't think collectively they really wanted to do this show. But that's that. So Taj then invites Candy down to a rehearsal that the girls are, SWV is going to be having. So that way they can finally sit down, iron out all the kinks as far as this show goes, and then bring it to fruition, right? So let's pause here and we're gonna move forward. So like I said earlier, you guys, I love that we get to see the ins and outs with SWV as well as Xscape. Now, I know that I've heard Lily's story before, because if you guys don't remember, I think it was in 2020 that Lily and her son Kai, I think I reviewed this. I think this was during the pandemic. I'm almost positive when this season of Growing Up Hip Hop Atlanta aired, right? I feel like it was during the pandemic, but Lily and her son had joined Growing Up Hip Hop Atlanta, right? So we had heard about Kai doing music. At that time, Deb Atney was on the show, and you guys, she was trying to do a showcase for the artists that were on the show. I don't know if that ever happened. I don't remember, because I think that they've now canceled Growing Up Hip Hop Atlanta. I can't be positive. I think what's his name? I can't forget. One of them came out and said that the show was canceled, and I do believe it is because now all that's on there is Growing Up Hip Hop, the original. So that Lily and her son Kai went down to a bar. The bartender, that bartender kept looking at the camera. I mean, he just kept looking at the camera and smiling. You could just see them teeth. So she's talking about this book that she's writing about. So she has an alter ego called Sister Hot Pussy. I was like, Sister Hot Pussy? Okay. So Lily has really, really, really been through a lot, right? Because when the group broke up, that was the end of her. I'm gonna bring this up in a few minutes too. Actually, I'm probably gonna include it together. So Lily, when the group broke up, Lily became homeless, so she slept in her car. And I was like, wow, it's really interesting to hear a lot of artists from the 90s and the early 2000s, right, who say that they were touring, they were making music and whatnot, but ultimately most of them went broke, lost their homes and all that kind of stuff. It's just very interesting. It's very sad when you think about it, right? So I love hearing Lily's story, and I'm so happy that she's came through on the other side. So I'm going out of order real quick. All right, you guys, so I'm going a little bit out of order. So I talked about Lily, and I want to segue over to Coco and her son Jalen, right? So you guys remember in last week's episode, Coco was talking about her son Jalen wanting to be a dentist and she wants him to go back to school, right? But Jalen wants to focus on doing music. And I can't really say whose side. I'm not on anybody's side. I just see both points of view, right? I can see both points of view, but I guess if I have to say, I really do lean more towards Coco. But I think her approach was a little bit off. So you guys know Jalen wants to sing. And I get that he wants to sing, and I get that that's his passion, right? But I get where Coco is coming from. Coco is saying that this music industry, it's fickle at best. It's fickle. They love you one day, but they can hate you the next day. And we do see that, right? And I get Jalen. Jalen saying he's not passionate about dentistry. So I have to say that I lean more towards Coco's side, right? But I lean toward Coco's side, but I have the same sentiments that her mother has, because they called up her mom, his grandmother, and he told her, and he started crying, and I really did feel bad for him, right? Because he says he doesn't want to be forced to do something that he's just not passionate about. And I get that. I do get that. But the thing I would say is, listen to your mom's story, listen to Lily's story, listen to a lot of other people's story who's been in the music industry, right? They have these striving, booming careers, but when it's all said and done and it's over, they have nothing, they don't have anything, so they have to rebuild and repair, right? Lily said that she went back and got her GED and she went and worked in the office. So I feel like there should be a happy medium. Maybe not go back to school for dentistry, right? Figure out, like, if you want to do something music, do something learn the behind the scenes, learn how to work, how to mix, master, engineer, music, right? That is something that you'll always be able to fall back on if being in front of the camera doesn't work. Learn the behind the scenes, because that is something that's always going to be there, right? So I just feel like he should have something as a backup. That's my thing. And I also, like the grandmother said, take some time off, right? If you feel like this is what you want to do, we will support you, right? And he's 19 years old, and I'm not saying that, anything. I feel like at 19, like the grandmother said, you don't know what you like, right? You're still learning yourself. So I just feel like maybe he should, think about what his mom and his grandmother are saying. It's okay to want to do, and like Coco said, go to school during the week, and then on the weekend, do your music. Like, I wholeheartedly agree with that. I just did not necessarily like Coco's approach. But we're going to pause here, and we're going to wrap up this episode, you guys. All right, you guys, so we see Latasha. She's in the studio, and can I be honest with you guys? That song that she was singing, it didn't do it for me. It wasn't bad, but it just wasn't 100% great, right? Then you got an extra ass Rocky. I don't know how Latasha doesn't see it, but Rocky and the brain, well, you're the brain, he's Pinky. But no, he's the brain and you're Pinky. But my thing is, Rocky is opportunist. He's an opportunistic person. He coming into that studio just dancing and everything. I'm like, sir, that song is just not that great. Like, it wasn't that good. And then when he imitated Ike Turner, I was like, sir, that's exactly what you give Ike Turner vibes. Like, that's 100% what you give to me is Ike Turner. So then they sat down and she was telling him about the fact that she got a message from Candy that the girls of SWV want to sit down and talk to them, right? He's still upset with Tamika because Tamika is saying that he stole her money, right? I haven't heard you say, I didn't do it. I haven't heard those words come out of your mouth, Rocky. Just being honest. Haven't heard those words come out of your mouth, right? So then he told Tamika, you go down there, you go if you want to, but if you go, show them who Latasha is. Okay. I ain't got nothing to say, you guys. I really don't. I have nothing to say. I got nothing to say. I got nothing to say. I got nothing to say about that. So we get the meeting with SWV and Xscape, right? So they all are in. Latasha was reluctant at first, but she is in, all right? This is where, if you're Team Candy, you might want to go ahead and just click off the video, because at this point, I'm not gonna be I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna keep it real, and that's what you guys come to me for, because I keep it real 100%, right? So Taj told them that they got a venue, but it's only for one night, and are they in? They're in. So Candy decides that she wants to ask, so let's talk about the obvious. And I was like, what is the obvious question? Well, we feel that we should be the headliners of this tour. I was like, girls, first of all, it's one night, right? So they feel like they should be the headliners. And I was like, why do y'all feel like y'all should be the headliners? Well, since we've been touring together, we've been headlining. Here's the thing, people keep bringing up the Great Escape Tour, right? Because on the Great Escape, on the poster for the Great Escape Tour, you have Xscape, you have Belle Viv DeVoe, and then you have SWV, right? That was their tour. And like Tasha said, so y'all have been headlining y'all tour since y'all came back together? And they said yes, right? So then Tiny in her interview is saying, well, me and Candy, we on reality TV, and that's a whole new audience, right? And SWV doesn't have the followers or the fans that we do. And I was like, excuse me? Like, if SWV and Xscape had a show here in Dallas tonight, and they were having different shows, let's say SWV was at American Airlines Center and SWV was out there at in Arlington, right? If you ask me who would I pick to go see tonight, I'm gonna go see SWV before I go see Xscape. I'm like, I have to catch Xscape on another time, right? Because I'm a bigger SWV fan than I am an Xscape fan. And for me, honestly, I feel like with this situation, they should co-headline, because the way that they were talking, you would think that SWV is like Jade, Changing Faces, Divine, Black, all of those groups, right? They had some success. Well, they had a little bit of success, but they didn't have the success that SWV had, right? Like, y'all are acting like SWV is on the low end of the totem pole. They are not. Those girls are still touring. Remember, they just came back from Africa. Has Xscape been called to go to Africa? No shade, no tea, but has Xscape been asked to go to Africa to perform? And then what really kind of upset me last night was the fact that Candy got on Twitter and she was doubling down on it, right? Everybody in her tweets were basically being like, no, ma'am, what we're not going to do is we're not going to play SWV to the left. Like, that's what we're not going to do. Like, I just didn't understand that. And I was with Coco and Lily when they got pissed off and walked off. I was with them. But that's it, you guys. Let me know what you guys thought about it. Leave your comments down in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on your post notifications. Share the video. And until the next time, you guys, stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. Wash your hands. Be blessed. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.